The show about newsy type stuff and things. My name is George.
My name is Tom.
And my name is Adam.
And with our powers combined, we are Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. Today's episode, reporting to you from heaven, as it looks like.
What is going on?
Oh my god.
The clouds parted, and I'm now reporting to you from the white void, from the beyond. And a bunch of sunlight is streaming into my little pod, so I will close these
This
curtains.
is for anyone listening in an audio medium. This is completely irrelevant, but it's
Oh, there we go.
On the video stream, it kind of looks like George is sitting in like the white room in the Matrix, where they're like, "What do you need? Guns."
Yeah. Or like that one moment, that one GIF I've seen from that Brendan Fraser film, The Whale. Like only two things came out of The Whale. One, the picture that we've all seen. It's all over the internet. If you picture The Whale, the movie The Whale in your head, you know the picture I'm talking about.
Brendan Fraser
Just
looking sad and fat on the couch.
looking off to the right. Yep, that's just the picture. Or the one GIF, I have not seen the film. I have no context for this, but he suddenly kind of like rises up and looks to the sky and everything goes white. And it's like out of context. This GIF is hilarious. It looks like he ascends to like, I don't know, like my home planet needs me, and off he goes. Yeah,
Higher
it looks very
plane of
much like that.
existence. Yeah, look, I've been waiting to ascend now. We're waiting for Donald Trump to ascend. Just waiting for people to ascend out of this world so we can just get back to normality.
Death is not a
Hasn't
punishment.
happened.
This is the thing. Death is not a punishment because it happens to everyone. I was watching the film Conspiracy last night about the Nazis who engineered the final solution because I'm fun.
Just some light
I'm
viewing
fun,
on a
okay?
Saturday night.
That's what I like to watch.
Yeah.
It's a great film. Kenneth Branagh, Stanley Tucci, Colin Firth. It's the who's who of who's very fuckable in the British acting corpus of, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s. But
Watch a football match. Jeez.
I can't do that. My brain don't work like that, Adam. Anyway, so I watched it and it was really good. Why did I bring that up?
Death is
ascending.
not a punishment.
Death is not a punishment. At the end, it goes, oh, Adolf, Heydrich, and he died in a bombing in 1947, and Adolf Eichmann got captured by the Mossad in the 1960s in Argentina and was tried and hanged. And I'm just kind of thinking, like, all these fucking guys got off easy. They all died of like natural causes or like because of the war
Or hanging. Hanging is natural causes.
No, but like Eichmann, I suppose, was the only one who got like a trial and like just
Yeah.
desserts. So many of the guys that went through the Nuremberg trials, they're like, time served. I'm like, time served for fucking war crimes. And they're like, yeah, this guy was an accountant until 1987 when he died. I'm like, he was a fucking Nazi high command. What do you mean? He just like got off in the 49 and then just like lived a normal life. But like, you know, the idea that death is like somehow some kind of punishment. It's like they all more or less got off completely scot-free for engineering a genocide and a Holocaust even. And
The Holocaust.
the Holocaust, it's the one that we talk about. And yeah, like death is not about like, so yeah, all these fucking guys are going to die, but like, so are all of us, right? Like death is not justice.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's
Death
talk
is
about
not
the
a
news.
punishment, but nearly 40 years as an accountant.
Have you ever met a CPA? Unbearable.
They really just love those sheets. Freaks in the sheets. Speaking of freaks,
Spreadsheets.
Donald Trump.
Spreadsheets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spread those sheets.
Spreading the sheets. Donald Trump probably doesn't like spreadsheets. He likes pens, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Apparently, he gets a 2-minute daily video highlight reel as his briefing because men don't like read.
A highlight reel of like
The war.
the news, or just like
Well, the war in Iran, how the Iran's going. So basically, he watches like 120 seconds of pshoo, 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 and they go, "Sir, the war's going very well." He goes, "It's incredible. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I guess the war's going very well. I'm seeing lots of missiles taking off. Incredible."
Just
Is
a
that
fan.
verified?
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
fan cam to highway to the
Yeah.
danger zone. Stuff
Yeah.
on up. Jesus Christ.
Fly free bird. It's just like pshoo, 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 missiles going off. Yeah, that's the president's briefing. It's because he doesn't like words. They show him a fucking video clip. I saw this the other day. It came out.
We are in hell.
Yeah, we're in hell. We're in the darkest timeline.
I'm sure video packages as a briefing mechanism.
Don't try and make it make sense, Malaka. Don't act like it's fucking normal for the president to have the attention span of a fucking ADHD tween.
He was democratically elected. The World War III has continued to continue. And don't worry, though, because they're talking to them. When I say they, the Americans are apparently talking to the Iranians.
They are not.
Peace. They're talking to someone, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say,
just like Jerry from Ohio.
Yeah. Who are you talking to? Yeah, so this is 3 days ago. Trump getting daily Iran war sizzle reel of stuff blowing up. Fuels concerns he's not getting full picture in briefings. Yeah, no shit. That's from The Independent.
So, earlier this week, there was Trump made a statement that he was like, they've given us we can play the clip, but like a present, a very big, expensive present.
The most incredible present.
That's common in war negotiations, as I understand. I'm sure, especially when it's just like an overwhelming bombing campaign in a region that you are not equipped to be fighting in. Like I'm sure like Laos was just giving Henry Kissinger just like wonderful gifts.
Lots of fruit baskets, lots of papaya, lots of stuff to keep him regular.
Is the way that Southeast Asia, they're very good at massages. That's what I hear.
Okay, Adam. So here's Donald Trump saying Iran gave him a very big present. One can only hope it's a large wooden horse.
Make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone. As the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum, racked up pretty good.
Racked up is the president of the United States saying that the new supreme leader was injured.
We will fight them on the beaches.
The rhetoric is just astounding. Just chef's kiss. This will go down in the annals of history.
And everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier are gone. But we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out. And the present, the gift they made to us was very significant. And they said they were going to do it, and it happened. And they're the only ones that could have done it. Jennifer?
Was it related to the Strait of Hormuz and the flow of...
Yeah, it was related to the flow, to the strait, yeah.
Yeah, the flow and the strait. Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely real. I'll take things that never happened for 500, Alex.
That's so crazy to be like, yeah, it was amazing and it happened, but I won't tell you what it was. And but although maybe I'm conflating like our system of rules with here in Australia with their system of rules. Surely a present from a foreign government that is worth a lot of money, kind of he legally has to tell people what that is.
It's an incredible present. It seems to be ticking. I can't wait to take it to the Situation Room and unwrap it.
So what he ended up?
I bet it's a big watch, big Trump watch.
What actually happened? What he's talking about is that apparently 10 oil tankers were allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz through back-channel negotiations.
And that's the present?
That's the present.
Ah.
There were some tankers they let through.
But it arrived
well.
Today. Like that's what he said. Like it arrived today. It sounds like he got like next day shipping.
They were non-US. They were non-US affiliated oil tankers.
Okay.
So,
but like that's been reported out. Is that like oil tankers associated with China and other allies of Iran have been allowed passage? Right. That's got nothing to do with the United States, right? Like there was a thing about how some Japanese tanker like made the Great Escape, the way the Australian media reported it, like Yeah, like it was the next installment of Argo, where like a Japanese ship had their transponder on, and then they turned it off, and then they broadcast a signal saying Chinese owner, like, don't blow us up, and then passed through, and then came through to Australia. And we're like, yay, we got a single oil tanker. It's all good, guys. And I'm like, that's not really what that means. It means, we only got one, and we normally have whatever 12. Like,
allegedly, this was they allowed this many ships to leave, greater and above what they have been. So, but yeah, I mean, whether or not as to where these ships aren't necessarily going. So, like, some were flagged as Pakistani, as we said. Like, they're not necessarily going to the US. So when he says we received a present, that is Trump being Trump. Right? It's not. Wow. There is no present. It's just they've said, we'll let some more tankers through. And then I'm assuming there's some sort of look. They're saying this is the thing
because Trump's lifted the sanctions on Iranian oil to try and help address the global supply crisis that's been caused by his war in Iran. That's like that now has resulted, and the Russian oil is also lifted sanctions on Russian oil as well. But in order to sort of flood the market with oil and hopefully bring prices down. But it's like, okay, well now you're directly facilitating money going into the Iranian regime, which you're trying allegedly to change or choke off. So it's like, by letting this oil out onto the market, that's well in excess of returning the whatever it was, $1 billion worth of frozen assets that they had in the JCPOA. I think it's like in this last week, it's like $12 billion or something like that. That's been allowed to flow into Iranian coffers. That was the whole thing. They're like, their whole opposition to the Iran nuclear agreement was, oh, you're giving money and they're going to use it to, as a state sponsor for terrorism. And it's like, well, you've just given like 12 times that amount to them that you were complaining about in the last week in order to like backpedal this crisis that you created. So I don't know.
So this is the thing now. So they're saying that they've been in negotiations with. So when I say they, the United States is saying that they have been in negotiations with the Iranian regime.
And Iran has denied this, by the way.
And Iran has denied this multiple times.
Yeah.
Either way,
there's alleged back channeling through Pakistan or something like that. Yeah. That's meant to be like trying to facilitate some sort of discussion.
I mean, I wonder whether or not they're talking to maybe someone within the regime, but I don't necessarily think it's those.
This is what the point Jon Stewart was making this week. Like, wait, are you talking to the guy, or are you talking to a guy?
Yeah,
because like a guy is like a very different situation to the guy, and he's like, well, who's handling the talks? And he's like, well, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are handling it. So it's like, okay, so you're not talking to a guy. It's one of your A guys is talking to one of their maybe A guys. It's like that doesn't count as negotiations, right, guys?
They're back channeling by the sounds of it through various intelligence sources, I would say, and maybe through Pakistan. But either way, the US has now.
Hi, welcome to today's Zoom meeting. Thanks for joining, guys. Why don't we whip around the room and do some introductions, because we don't really know who you guys are. We killed so many of you, so we're gonna need to start from the top. You're also called Hamedi? That's crazy, because the guy we just killed was Hamedi. There's another Hamedi? What are the odds?
The US has now presented Iran with a 15-point peace plan, and Iran has gone, it's pretty unfair, bro.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Fairly one-sided.
Hey, ChatGPT, I'm an insane dictator who's currently running the United States government. Put together a 15-point ceasefire plan for Iran, the country which I have just needlessly and illegally bombed. Take as long as you need. Accuracy is more important than speed.
The Israelis were surprised at this, given they just want to keep going until there is no more Iran.
That seems to be their aim.
Meanwhile, the United States is still sending. We talked about the Marines that have been sent there previously. They're sending more Marines.
They're also headed to the area. Yeah.
They're sending the 82nd Airborne in as well. So it's, while they're talking peace, they're building up,
mobilizing
troops,
for war,
which is, kind of what the Russians did or have been doing since day one in Ukraine. Oh yeah, we're definitely really serious about peace negotiations. We really love peace. We love peace so hard. We're going to keep attacking every.
Bro, I'm such a fucking peacenik. You have no idea. Anyway, just ignore these borders over here where we're amassing thousands of troops. That's fine. It's nothing to see here. Don't worry about it, bro.
Yeah. So, a lot of propaganda and rhetoric happening at the moment around this war in the Middle East, and it's like there was a cabinet meeting the other day. It was like 90 something minutes, which they broadcast or they allow people to film, and it's like I don't know, like what do they do in those meetings? It's a 90-minute rambling of Trump just like.
He's talking about pens, and we get $1,000 pens, and we're just handing out the pens. And me, I like economy good, and that's why I get the pens, but I get the Sharpie pens, much cheaper. And there's guys I called him, and he said to me, we could put the White House logo on the pens, make them black, and do almost real gold, put them on the pens. And it's like it just goes on for minutes and minutes during the middle of this cabinet meeting. I'm like, what is this King Joffrey cabinet bullshit where everyone's having to ritually humiliate themselves in front of the cameras for a feature-length film in order to subjugate themselves to this fucking lunatic? What is happening?
Yeah, it's...
The most incredible pens are the Sharpies. The 1,000 pens, the $1,000 pens, they don't even work. And I said, let's get some Sharpies in here. And the kids don't know the difference between $1,000 these pens we're giving to these kids. I was like, what?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I think it's bringing it back to something you said earlier, Adam, where Trump talking about getting a prize, and so the Trump rambling about pens and all that sort of stuff is like Trump being Trump. I think the thing that I didn't expect to happen
it's Trump.
in
It's
World
Trump
War
being
III,
senile.
yeah, but just like it's just Trump being as Trump is, and it. I didn't expect this in World War III, but I didn't expect that the opposition would also just be doing Trump better than Trump can, because the Iranian response in like their propaganda that they were bringing out is just inspired. When I saw that Iran had called like the reports of negotiations fake news, I'm like, yeah, brilliant. Yes, let's go. Like you're just employing his tactics back at them.
The Lego clip was next level.
Yeah, dropping diss tracks.
I can't even, like, what is reality anymore? Like, I do not fucking understand what cooked fucking timeline we're in now. So this is like a Lego animation diss track that Iran dropped. I swear to Christ. Using AI, obviously. But we live in the dumbest fucking possible timeline. Anyway, so I can't believe here's Iran's Lego diss track to Trump. It's not a combination of words I ever thought us or anyone would be forced to say.
You crossed the ocean just to find your granted. Sacrificed your own boys for a lie. Listen. Yeah. Make America great again. Yo, Tails, is your crib? Yeah, make America great again now. We will see what happens, yeah. Watch this. Sacred defense, we protecting the soil. Why you sacrifice soldiers to pay for your spoil? You surrender blow, sitting on your throne, now turning every base into a bed of stone. It's a slaughterhouse, a trap you couldn't see. Welcome to the graveyard of your vanity. The secrets are leaking. The pressure is rising. We locked on the target.
I can't, like, it's
wild.
I'm honestly here.
There's like a gravestone with Donald Trump 2026 on it. And the worst, it's just insane. Just an insane thing to exist in the world. And the worst part about it is it kind of goes hard.
I was going to say, it's clearly like, obviously the song's probably AI generated as well, and is ripping these from just like the best diss tracks of the last like 30 years, and it's some perfect amalgamation of them or whatever. But it's just,
Yeah, it goes hard. It's spitting facts, like all through the lyrics, and the imagery. Like obviously for people listening at home, like you wouldn't have seen this, but check out.
Yeah, you got to get on the
stream
YouTube.
if
You got to get on. You got to get on the YouTube because you're missing out.
Because like seeing this Lego Trump like sifting through Lego pieces of paper labeled Epstein and a computer going Epstein files have leaked, and it's like in the Situation Room, like a nuclear alert going. Ooh! I don't know, just brilliant. Like it, and because
Lego
fighting...
HQ are probably just like,
oh no,
it's a trademark,
not authorized.
It's not
yeah, actually, I would love to see the Trump panicking over the Epstein files leaking computer on the Lego Ideas page. That like if you get enough votes, they consider it, maybe release it as a set. That'd be great.
A little Epstein file set, a little Operation Epstein Fury set for the Iran war.
Would buy.
Sometimes you just got to lean in, as they say, as a business. You know, take an opportunity.
Although
I don't know whether that. I mean, we've seen someone's reaction video to it. I haven't actually seen whether this was on like an Iranian state media page or whether it's from some.
That's my understanding. Yeah.
And I mean,
maybe it's the Russians. I don't know.
First World War III diss track.
Well, and the thing is, at first I was just like, oh my god, this.
Are we Drake? Guys, are we Drake in all of this? I hope we're Kendrick, but I'm pretty sure we're Drake.
Yeah. No, well, if by we you mean the allied
West.
with America, yeah. I think we're Drake in this.
Guys, are we the baddies?
Yeah, in this rap beef. But I don't know. Yeah, at first I was like, oh god, this is sickening and awful. But then I remembered, no, the American started the war, but also started with all the, as we alluded to before, Freebird rockin' tracks of blowing stuff up mixed in with like footage from fucking Armor 3 or whatever, like just all this other random crap. Like, no,
you started it.
They're playing your game.
Yeah, the meme wars. They're also meme wars and information wars, which the Iranians understand about America,
doing
right?
it better than you.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Like but I'm here for it. You know what? If we have to be living in the darkest timeline, at least dropping some fire bangers about how much Trump's fucking up. You know what? I'll take it.
And they're saying they're desperate to make a deal. They want to make a deal with us so fucking bad. And it's like, I think it was John Heilman said everything he says is either projection or an admission. And it's like, clearly you want a deal really fucking bad because you're recognizing how poorly this is going and you're realizing that there's no actual off-ramp to this. So they're going, they're so thirsty for a deal. These guys can't wait to make a deal. And then behind the scenes, he's going, please, for the love of God, make a deal. I have no off-ramp. I have no way of making this unhappen. I'm such a fucking asshole.
Oh, no, he's probably more just yelling at Pete Hegseth. Just being like, you're the war guy. Fix it.
Secretary of War Crimes, Pete Kegsbreath.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same playbook he had with Russia. It's like, they definitely want to deal. They definitely want to deal. Meanwhile, Russia's like, yeah, we'll just use.
Russia's like, yes, we will make a deal. Give us 18 more months of bombing, and this deal is very sure to come, Mr. President. You're so smart and brilliant, Mr. President. Yes.
So and there's this. I'm not sure whether it's from the what's the guy off Marvel?
Stan Lee.
The movie. Stan Lee. No, not Stan Lee.
John Favreau.
No,
Iron Man.
Anyway, there's a Trump film.
Tom Holland.
And it's got
Sebastian Stan.
Yes.
Sebastian Stan.
Who played the Winter Soldier in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Sorry.
You said
you
the
speak
Marvel
Adam
guy.
so well. Yeah.
You said the Marvel guy. I'm like, Stan Lee, like, he wrote a lot of the comics, and like.
And we got from Stan Lee to Marvel Cinematic Universe to Sebastian Stan to The Apprentice, which is the film about which you're referring, which is about Donald Trump, played by Sebastian Stan.
Yeah. Good,
which is good, by the way.
Good, yeah, worth watching.
Sorry.
There's a bit monologue in it where he talks about sort of like never ever admitting,
never admit fault, never back down, which is the Roy Cohn philosophy, who was his mentor, right?
And his father's philosophy too.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah,
Frederick Christ Trump.
Of being able to like will things into existence as well.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if I just keep saying that it's a thing, eventually it will become a thing. Because...
Yeah, it's chaos magic. It's literally like you manifest it, you will it into existence by saying it over and over again, which
he kind of does.
It's kind of worked for him because he became president twice
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he is. It's so funny because for Trump, he is a malignant narcissist, but it has also worked for him.
Yeah.
Like him being
he's been
an insane
enabled
malignant
his entire
narcissist
life.
has actually created the reality that he wanted to create, and that he is now the most powerful person in the world. Right?
Yeah, it's something his niece wrote in her book about him, like the
This is
too much and never enough. Yeah,
Mary Trump.
his deceased brother's daughter, that she laid the blame as much with, like, I think she was speaking about banks specifically in the book at the time, as much as him, because yeah, it's just like, if at any point they just said, no, we won't loan you the capital to do the next thing you're saying, after the 8 times previously that
Where
what
you've
you've done has
stooged people
failed,
and ripped off contractors
and
all
kept
this
doing
sort of
it,
stuff.
he not only does he will things into existence, he's enabled at every turn.
Yeah, Deutsche Bank is like famous for, going to bat for Trump when no other banks would, and basically keeping him alive as a relevant sort of, economic entity, right?
Yeah. How's that going, fellas?
Yeah, how you feeling about that, Deutsche Bank?
Yeah.
Probably pretty good.
Yeah.
You think Deutsche Bank would know from dealing with fascists?
You'd hope so. But I guess he's lucky that he's got an ally in them, I suppose, because it doesn't seem like Trump has allies anywhere else at the moment, which he said quite plainly for Trump. Like, let's be honest, Trump doesn't say a lot of things plainly. But in that 90-minute rambling cabinet meeting,
The pen chat, henceforth described in history as the pen rant.
I was going to say pen chat. You would say he has a penchant for a pen chat?
I like that. I'm going to give you 10 points.
Just going to give it a...
Thank you. It's only clear on the video stream that I was sipping a glass of water immediately after saying it with pride.
And edit point.
And 10 more minutes. No, but Trump, in his ramblingness during pen chat, also just decided to, Australia copped some strays in the middle of it.
Naturally.
Trump was listing off, like, a bunch of just his allies, saying he was surprised that certain other countries weren't just coming in to try to make sure that oil was flowing through the Strait of Hormuz, to which he said, quote, Australia was not great. I was a little surprised by Australia.
Australia literally sent... What was the personnel and material that Australia sent to defense?
We've sent 87 people, one Wedgetail, which is going to the UAE, not necessarily...
Describe the Wedgetail. What does it do? It's like a high-altitude surveillance drone or something?
No, it's not a drone. It's like a 737.
Yeah, I thought it's a manned flight.
Yeah, it's a 737 with a vast array of sensors. It's basically a surveillance aircraft that can...
And they're pretty rare, right? There aren't a lot of them around.
There's not a heap of them. They kind of do a number of things. Like, you can use them in a number of different ways. But, like, for instance, an example of what they're doing at the moment, which is also what they did in Poland when the Russians started shooting drones into Poland, was that they would track various airborne targets and relay that information to various allies. So we're supplying a significant amount of material and personnel. Well, it's not significant. I wouldn't call it significant.
For Australia.
Not really.
To Gulf states in order to help support Trump's war effort. And Penny Wong has been nothing if not insistent on not condemning the Trump regime and what they're doing over in Iran.
Yep.
Like, essentially lending them moral cover and support here in Australia by not condemning them when asked to. I feel like the Australian government has done more than its fair share compared to other NATO allies to help embark on this insane, illegal, unconstitutional war of choice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the taste of boot is very strong in our mouths.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yeah, and Trump went on to just also roast the UK Prime Minister for saying that he offered to send aircraft carriers to help them when, quote, the war was already over. To which he said, no thanks, we don't need them. And then is admonishing them for not coming in and helping, despite the fact, hey, the war's not over, Trump.
But also, like,
what?
The only time that Article 5 of NATO has ever been invoked was by the Americans. You know what I mean? Like, he goes, oh, we always support them and they never support us. And it's like the only time that NATO's charter has been invoked to deploy military force was when the US embarked on unnecessary wars of choice last time in the Middle East. Like, that was when we came and supported you. And Australia and the UK and a bunch of other NATO allies expended really significant amounts of blood and treasure. And the people who died in those conflicts and the people who are permanently maimed from those conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, I think would be really fucking angry to hear the president of the United States saying we don't do shit for America when people have given their lives over years to support Americans in their insane wars of choice.
Yeah.
I'm mad about it. I'm not even like a military guy. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, anyway.
I mean, this has been a line of discussion.
We didn't consult you on this conflict, and then you refused to get involved like a bunch of bitches. It's like, what?
And then it also said we don't even need them anyway. It was
we don't need you. Yeah, what a great negotiator. What a great way to get support. Is saying we don't need you. Fuck you. Why don't you help us? Fuck you. We don't need you. What?
Pretty wild. In response, Anthony Albanese basically just said that. Just deflected and said, "Well, it'll be up to the president to explain his comments." So it stood firm.
Our prime amoeba.
Yeah. And when reached for comment, Anthony Albanese said,
Yeah, the spineless blob on the floor said.
I mean, to be fair, the UK and parts of NATO have been hosting US bombers, like for quote unquote defensive operations, throughout this entire conflict. So this concept.
Yeah, the UK's letting.
What
them
did
use
Penny
their
Wong call it?
sites,
Like
right?
proactive collective defense or something like that. Just the most euphemistic.
That's a lot of words to say an offense.
An offense, right?
Like, yeah.
I mean, they're trying to. Just to be very clear, what we say when we say defense is that obviously Iran's been shooting missiles, drones at the Gulf states. So the concept is, in terms of what Australia's contributing, is we're trying to protect and track those projectiles being shot at the Gulf states, particularly the UAE, from Iran, and we're trying to help track those so they can intercept them. So
well, especially because if Iran goes full ham on this conflict, they've threatened to start bombing desalination plants, which in the Gulf, that's how they get all of their water, essentially.
Yeah.
If you start taking out critical infrastructure, and Trump did this insane thing this week, he's like, we're going to take it, if the Strait of Hormuz is not open within 48 hours, we're going to bomb their electrical infrastructure, starting with the biggest one first. They know what that is. And then within 30 hours, it was like, we're extending it out for 5 days because we're in great talks. And because Iran was like, if you do that, we will start bombing all of the critical infrastructure of everyone around us, and millions of people will be thrown into, chaos essentially, because there's no way to get water because they're in the middle of the fucking desert otherwise. Like, don't, because if you do that, we'll do this. And then Trump's like, we've got a little 5-day pause. We're going to have a little chat.
It's almost like they've done no research as to the enemy that they have chosen.
And I had one dumb motherfucker in the comments of one of our videos being like,
oh boy,
everyone's saying that Trump doesn't have a plan. Well, you don't become president twice without a plan. Like, the guy's obviously working short-term pain for long-term gain. I'm like, yes, because there have been no presidents in history that have ever won 2 consecutive terms and made horrible, era-defining blunders in American foreign policy. There are no several examples that I can think of where that has happened.
I'm sorry. You reading out their comment in that voice, are you implying that it was from the president?
It might have been, or one of his bots.
Was it John Barron?
The guy's obviously, this is John Barron. I reckon, great job. Well done, Trump. I really don't see how you could possibly think at this stage that any of this was planned. Like, clearly these guys, because there are things you would put in place, like insurance and, guiding shipping through the channel and guarantees and financing. And you wouldn't leave people stranded in the middle of Dubai and say, well, have you tried getting a Greyhound to Europe in order to fly home? Like, obviously they didn't plan this out. Obviously not. Talk to any economist and they'll be like, well, if we were going to do this, there's things that we should have put in place before this so it doesn't fuck the asshole of the world economy. Obviously, it's not
yeah,
planned out.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Iran obviously has been planning for this for years. Before we move on to some of the more of the Australian stuff, Iran-linked hackers, though, have apparently broken into the personal email of Kash Patel, who's the FBI director, and has published photographs of him and other documents on the internet, and things like him smoking cigars and riding an antique convertible.
Well,
So it's kind of fairly inane stuff.
Yeah,
like a picture with a bottle of rum. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
this isn't the Hunter Biden laptop where it's like photos of him
on the crack pipe. No.
no,
But the fact that the head of the FBI is like using an unsecure email protocol to send his emails and is, hackable by the Iranian regime does not bode well, and sort of calls back to another story towards the start of the administration where they were all planning the initial, I think it was the initial bombing of Iran, the Fordo sites and all that sort of stuff, just via a signal chat. Right. Again, which is not like official, secure government communication. So clearly the guys who like were on Hillary's asshole for years being like, but what about her emails? Are like clearly doing the same shit themselves, even worse,
To be fair, this is an old email address, so it's been correspondence and stuff between 2010 and 2019.
it's like it's his personal email. It's not his
like work one.
Not that sort of stuff.
Well,
but
as far as we know, as far as what's
As
been
far as
released
we know,
so
that's
far,
true.
As far as we know, I mean, this
That's
is the thing. They've released a sample. This is and the threat actor was Handala, which is, they advertise themselves as sort of like a Palestinian advocacy sort of hacker group, but like most people believe that they're just an Iranian cutout.
this is the asymmetric part of the war that we started that we talked about last week. Is that I think JD Vance was saying that some guy could walk around and self-detonate a nuclear bomb vest, which is like not a thing that exists. But like,
that'd be a fucking huge vest.
But it doesn't need to be a nuclear bomb in order to cause asymmetric terror. Iran famously has been a state sponsor of terror, and now there are all these Iranian cells all over the world who really hate Western governments that have now been essentially told, one imagines, you're off the leash. Do whatever you want.
Shit.
Go nuts.
Well,
there was an attack in the UK a couple of weeks
the
ago.
ambulances. The ambulances.
Jewish
in the UK.
ambulances.
Yeah.
So I expect we're going to start seeing these kind of asymmetric terror attacks all around the world. We've already seen attacks from Iran in Australia, in the last couple of years, all through Iranian cutouts for, firebombing synagogues and that whole fake terror plot. And exactly. Exactly. And they deal with some organized crime figure who's willing to throw a firebomb at something for some money. And
mob guys or whatever,
this is what asymmetric terror looks like. And we, as Australia, by committing ourselves to America's defense, whether they acknowledge it or not, whether they're appreciative of it or not, makes us a target, makes us now less safe, because now we're seen in the eyes of the Iranian regime as collaborators. So now it's justified in their minds to launch other kinds of asymmetric terror attacks. And it doesn't have to be a bombing. It could be cyber attacks. It could be hacking bank infrastructure. It could be taking down the fucking power grid. It could be all sorts of shit that they've been training years and years and years for when this day comes. So how does this make anyone safer? Not just Americans, but the rest of us who are getting dragged along into this broader conflict as well. It makes us less safe.
But I don't know about you guys, but President Herzog being here certainly, just made everything socially cohesive. It was great.
So much cohesion.
Yeah.
I was cohered to the side of the sidewalk, said one protester, by the fucking police when I got arrested. Did you see that clip I sent you guys of this woman, this lawyer representing a woman?
Oh, no.
I'll post this clip in the show notes, where he said like the fucking riot squad, whatever it was, 8 dudes turned up, broke her door in the middle of the night. Why? Because she was filmed throwing a water bottle at police during that protest action.
Fuck.
And so they fucking broke into her house at 5 a.m., raided her home, arrested her, pulled her away. But for what I would argue is pretty standard protest activity, right? Throwing a water bottle at police is not, I'm sorry, it's simply not assault. Okay, it really is not.
And it's not 5 a.m. raid situation.
No. It's not the kind of thing you would deploy, because every time you deploy like a tactical squad from whatever state jurisdiction,
this was New South Wales, I think, but yeah.
But like if you deploy one of those units, like it's not cheap.
That's serious money.
You could send 6 coppers who are probably
Some
from
cops
the local area.
knock on the door.
Or
Knock on the
two.
door.
Yeah.
You know,
Bashed a door in. You know, like proper fucking
Yeah, it's shock and awe.
shock and awe
to
tactics.
frighten protesters.
You know, dawn raid shit, right?
Yeah.
For someone who engaged in illegal protest.
it's a very, very odd response, and then I'm assuming there's some logic to it from whether it might just be a fear, like what do they call it, a chilling effect potentially from the New South Wales Police in
Oh,
response.
it's okay.
To
It's all right.
that.
They're just trying to chill speech, guys. It's all right.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, they're either doing it for optics, or they're doing it. Like,
Yeah.
why? What was? And if it's genuine, like, what was the threat assessment which meant that you needed to do that? Like, I don't get it.
The lawyer said, "I've been doing this kind of law for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
Like
it's very
this
odd.
is nuts."
Well, speaking of Australia, given we're now talking about the stuff back home, but still connected to all the chaos that we've been talking about here. So the federal Labor government have announced that they're going to try and effectively guarantee fuel supply into Australia through a concept that every time I hear it, like, people have been using the term underwrite just to explain it. Like, they say, oh, the government is underwriting the fuel, the shipping. Or like the cost
purchase,
of the purchase of fuel. They're underwriting the purchase of
additional
fuel. And I'm
shiploads
like,
of fuel.
what does that mean? They're like, so effectively the government will underwrite it. I'm like, that's the point I'm trying to get you to explain to me. I wasn't an accountant for 40 years like that Nazi guy we mentioned earlier. So what?
So it can mean a number of different things. I haven't seen the detail of the policy, but underwriting typically refers to insurance, right? So if you've got an insurance policy, it might be with whomever, I don't know, name an insurer, fucking whatever.
Jim's insurance.
Jim's insurance.
Of Jim's mowing.
Yes. No, different Jim. GYM. Jim's insurance. And they might hold the policy, but the person who actually pays out the policy, if the policy gets activated, if you make a claim, might be someone else. The person who underwrites the insurance is who they've purchased like their insurance from.
Yeah.
So it might be
They're
like
the ones that are
Lloyd's
paying
of
the bill.
London, or the
Yeah.
ones who ends up paying the bill at the end of the day. So you're purchasing an insurance policy from an insurer, but the person who's actually paying out if it gets if that policy gets deployed
Is the
is
person
someone
who's-
else who
who's
sits
underwritten
underneath.
it.
Underwrite it.
And
Exactly
in,
right.
in the insurance game in Australia, there's like, dozens to dozens and dozens of insurers, but there's actually
And they all,
a
as
number
insurance
of,
and reinsurance and
Yeah.
policy providers have different policies
There's
with one
a-
another to try and like hedge themselves and things like that.
there's
It's
a
very
much
complicated.
lesser number of underwriters. You'll
Yeah.
find that if you purchase a retail insurance policy for whether it be health or something else, that the underwriter will often have a different name.
Yeah.
Right.
So to be clear, this would be they've introduced they're going to introduce legislation on Monday, and it's going to enable the agency, which is called Export Finance Australia. It's a government credit agency, and it's usually responsible for supporting the country's export activities. They would be able to provide fuel importers insurance, which is what we just spoke about. They would also be able to provide loans and other financial arrangements. So it gives them, I guess, flexibility, not just underwriting, but also like if the literal fee for getting the boat here, I guess I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of maybe process, the way I read that. There'll be some process potentially where the government helps subsidise some of the costs.
Gives you a grant or some of the full
Yeah.
amount or partial amounts.
to be able
So
to import it in.
whatever financing you need to cover the gap that this crisis has caused, this agency is going to try and help you with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the concept here is that looking ahead, so at the moment Australia's fuel stocks are fine. I mean, obviously there's shortages across the country and it costs a shitload, but in terms of the overall stock, what am I trying to say? The inventory levels, they are fine.
And we do have
Yeah.
a strategic fuel reserve, right? As
Correct.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the government has been very consistent in saying hey, the shortages that we are seeing at the moment are not the result of lack of petrol coming,
Yes.
the
No,
supply
it's just
coming
the-
into the country, yet it's because everyone's rocking up with any kind of receptacle and panic buying it.
It's the toilet paper thing from COVID all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and to be fair, the difference is with the toilet paper thing is the price didn't go up with toilet paper, at least much. The difference is with petrol is the price is going up an extraordinary amount, and people are trying to hedge their bets and get in while the price is low. So it's the toilet paper thing, but it's like there is a real like, well, I'm going to buy now while it's cheap, which is classic supply and demand economics. Like this is the system that we use, and this is what happens in that system. This is the system working as designed.
This is the system of the savvy consumer.
So the concept here is that by introducing this legislation, because what they're saying is that currently we're okay, but as 1/5 of the world oil supply is now off the table, we are going to get to a situation in the next few months, because this conflict isn't going away. The government's trying to hedge their bets of, well, we still think we can get ships in, but it's just going to cost a shitload, so we're going to try and guarantee, that through the normal economic means of the different entities that buy this fuel, that continues to happen, and people don't have the importers don't have it costs too much, we're just not going to do it situation.
They're trying to alleviate some of those financial constraints. The problem is that this can be enormously expensive for our government if things go wrong, right?
Could be, yes.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess just like any insurer, right?
Yeah.
It's like
it's
great to be in the insurance business until a fucking cyclone rips through an area and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, which is why insurance companies have these things called force majeure clauses, which basically says if there's an act of God, if there's something that's outside of our control, then we're off the hook. Basically, go fuck yourself. So. It's hard to provide insurance in this environment, specifically because there's so much uncertainty, and so that risk premium that gets whacked on top of all of this stuff makes it unaffordable for people to take that risk and gamble and take the gamble on sending a ship, right? So if it goes pear-shaped and Australia is underwriting a ship, which I don't know, if it's going through the Strait of Hormuz and gets hit and damaged and destroyed, Australia would be on the hook, presumably, for the cost of that ship, which might go into billions of dollars. Right?
Yeah, with how many hundreds and thousands of barrels at $100 a barrel?
I mean,
or whatever.
not necessarily that keep in mind that a lot of the oil doesn't come through the Strait of Hormuz and go straight here. It's complicated. Like the oil goes.
Oh yeah, it goes
and gets refined.
Goes to Asia, gets refined, then gets shipped here. So
and we don't know what stage the Australian government is necessarily talking about insuring these vessels, right? Yeah, so I'm presuming not through the Strait of Hormuz for that reason. But the point
I think the concept is that generally speaking, the insurance fee, it's like the insurance fee is the insurance fee, and that will go up because of the situation. So whether you're
in general
shipping it between Jakarta and Australia, or whether you're shipping it between Africa and I don't know, Oman or something, like the fee would be the global fee is going to be higher. So therefore we're helping to pay for that. So it's not necessarily. I don't think we're insuring against specific risks. We're just saying we're going to underwrite the fee. Well, at least. We haven't seen the policy. That's the way I read the way it's been reported from the Guardian. Now, the thing I would like to talk about here is the politics at play and the way the media has been covering this.
Yep.
And it has been interesting, to say the least. Now, the Murdoch press in particular have been, I think, fairly irresponsible, to be honest, throughout this whole thing.
Not the Murdoch media, surely not.
I am seeing a lot of there's no headlines where they say, this is what this person said. It's a headline of, what was the example you gave before, Tom?
My wife showed me a clip this morning from Channel 10, so not the Murdoch press, but the
not far off.
The name of the YouTube video of it from their channel was One Nation fuel plan divides Australia.
Yeah, no concept of what and this is the same thing for the Murdoch press and for these stories, is no concept of what the actual what is the plan. Give me a and it used to be that headlines would give you. You could read the headline in the first paragraph and you get the gist of what
you get some sort of idea of. Yeah, but they want you to click on it and they want to harvest the SEO juice from One Nation and fuel, and it's like 3 different SEO fucking keywords in that headline, right?
Because it used to be that you have just bought the newspaper already, so they're laughing.
Yeah. So obviously, the Murdoch press knows that, this is a way to bludgeon the government, and to harvest hay clicks and to get therefore ad revenue and stats off it. Buy more papers for those people that still buy papers, and it's been a fairly a large attack on a lot of, and rightly so. The government should be held to account on this, but I feel like there's a lot of this concept that we're in this crisis and that the government is meant to just solve it. I find a little bit disingenuous.
But
given
how?
the current situation we're in has been 20 plus years, which is Labor and Liberal. It's both major parties.
Both the major parties, yeah.
Like, the reasons for why we're here are, and why Australia has only 2 refineries, which is only about 20% of our supply and only to certain sectors and yada yada yada, is because of mismanagement from decades of not subsidizing key industries like fuel refinement, oil refinement rather.
Moving away from fossil fuels,
all that.
Like, if we all had electric cars.
It's
electric cars are on the increase. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, 100%.
Sure.
But we're after decades of pushback for ages, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the technology's only been there properly, really, for the last. I'd argue electric car sales have been going as fast as they could do once the technology became viable.
Once China made it so cheap as
Yes.
to be competitive, right?
Yeah. Or Tesla, became a bit more mainstream.
BYD is where it's really breaking through to the sort of the normie market as opposed to $100,000 Teslas, right?
Yeah, you could argue that government policy, and incentives might have meant we got there quicker, but
absolutely. Well, when you look at Norway and Sweden and these sorts of economies where they're like a much more substantial portion of their cars, their fleets of cars, wherever you would describe it, are electric because they have subsidies, they have plans, there's incentives, there's,
Well,
and we're still
infrastructure is important as well. Like, the reason my wife and I weren't looking at
charging infrastructure.
a fully electric car when we were in the market for a new car is because we could not charge it at home. We don't have like a garage in our apartment building or access to a power spot where we can park. So it's just not.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So stuff like that, the government could have gone early, but I've just found that the media landscape has been fairly unforgiving for Labor during this crisis, and
it's just one of those situations where it's like whoever's holding the bag when the shit goes down gets the blame, right? Like, there's nothing that the Australian Labor government could be doing beyond what they're doing, I think, that would really seriously help to ameliorate
the only
a global
other thing you
supply
have
issue.
is
They could be putting-
you have your own merchant fleet. Like, that's the only way around this, is
right.
you have your own merchant fleet of tankers and supply ships, like in the good old days.
But for the last 30 years, we've embarked on this neoliberal project of slim down supply chains and globalization, and we're not going to subsidize industry anymore. We're not going to subsidize the car industry. We're not going to subsidize this. You're all on your own. And, we'll all be at the behest of China to get our cheap stuff. And that's fine when it works. But in times like COVID, or in times like the time of Trump 2.0, who himself is a rolling global supply shock, as we've discussed, that approach doesn't really work anymore. You need redundancies, you need fallbacks, you need the ability to ramp up your own production of whatever, masks, toilet paper, fucking fuel refinement. Like, you need things to have some things on shore. And I think the lesson for a lot of countries as a result of the COVID crisis and the Trump crisis, the poly crisis, is going to be that we do more stuff in-house. We try and get closer to autarky, where we do everything domestically, which might be fine for local supply chains, but is also a not very efficient use of capital, which means the price of things are going to go up.
And
it's much less efficient.
Country can do everything.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's going to result in less growth globally, more inefficiency, and therefore higher prices. Like, this is a trend this trend towards bringing onshoring or friendshoring, bringing everything in-house, makes everything more expensive for everyone, right?
You just need to do the critical areas, basically. So,
But who decides what the critical areas are until they're critical? That's the thing.
Well, yeah.
You'd think fuel supply would be one of them.
I think on the subject of like what could the government be doing more than what they're doing right now to alleviate any of this, I think the only thing that I would be wanting them to be doing is just less of this Penny Wong giving them the frowning of a lifetime and actually
we're gravely concerned. We're deeply,
Yeah.
gravely, incredibly, gravely,
Like,
griefully concerned.
like, yeah, that if our stance
heard
on
that.
this was end this now, this was illegal, against your own constitution, it was illegal. We don't support this. End it now. Like,
I
we
agree,
need
but
to end
that's a
this.
rhetorical positioning. It's not a policy position.
No,
right?
I guess, but it's like, but I think that
But I
is
agree.
all they can be doing. Like, and I think that's what pisses me off a bit. It's kind of like you're not active. Like, the only way we as Australia can be actively trying to end this situation is by just constantly pressuring the US to stop.
Yeah, but I think everyone recognizes that
It might
this
not work, but-
madman theory of politics with Trump is it's just not going to work. Like, he doesn't
it
respond
might
to
not
that kind of
work,
pressure. He
but
responds to
get
the
caught
Dow dropping down to pedophilia numbers again. But that's about it, right? Like,
No,
that's all he
it
seems
has
to
to
care
go
about.
up. No, George, it has to go up to pedophilia numbers.
Right,
when
sorry.
it's at a certain amount,
Over 50,000, you're right.
That's fine.
pedophilia is okay and fine and totally chill. Yeah.
The other thing that's been in the news a lot is the relation to fuel policy is that they're talking about rationing. So the concept being is they would set a cap of like you can only fill up $40 worth of petrol. Back in the 70s, they did a thing where it was like I think it was like license plates or something. It was like odds and evens.
Odd and even days
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So apparently, and this is the thing. This is the other thing the Murdoch press has really seized upon is they might ration your fuel, my freedoms, which. And apparently it is there is an emergency management plan where fuel rationing is mentioned, which, again, has got the media in a tiz. But, I mean, if they do ration fuel, I don't necessarily think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that's just a situation where, we live in a society, like in the war, they rationed things, otherwise shit got really bad.
But we
Isn't that
live in
what
an-
made the Greatest Generation so great? Was that they were willing to
the
do
sacrifice,
that?
yeah.
Like they were willing to
Like,
we don't
go through
live.
hardship for the sake of each other.
Yeah, okay, but it's slightly different because there was a kind of moral dimension to the the Second World War, which we certainly don't have here in Iran because the West are the
no, but the
illegal
reality
aggressors.
is the reality is what the reality is for Australia. Like it's not like
we
we've,
don't we don't exist because of the last 30, 40 years of neoliberal sort of atomizing politics where your only value is your contribution to the GDP and your
Dow.
the Dow. Yeah, exactly right. Got to get it back up to pedophilia numbers, boys. Got to return some value to the shareholders. Because of this idea that, as Thatcher once said, like there is no society, right? Like that we're all just consumers. We're all just individual atomized consumers making choices. The only value, the only joy to the extent that we have joy is that we're consumers. And we can choose and buy whatever we want.
Yeah.
And
So you're
we
saying
we can turn our productive output into things that we can buy. If we've been trained on that model for the last 30, 40 years, someone's saying you got to sacrifice for the greater good. Well, there's no moral scaffolding around which to build any of that, right? Like it's kind of just like, well, no, it's my money.
there.
And if I want to use my money to buy stuff, there's my fucking right as an Australian to buy stuff.
This is what we saw in COVID, is that people were like, I don't want to do that because my
Yeah.
rights.
Yeah, that's
my
what I
rights.
was thinking with your Murdoch press sort of thing there, Adam. Like, they might be making me ration fuel, and it's my God-given right to bathe in petrol.
Yeah.
I want to fill up my hot tub with petrol because I'm a fucking red-blooded free man.
Yeah.
We should bring it up. What was the One Nation policy, which I think actually you said was quite
Well, that's
not
the
a
thing.
bad idea.
It wasn't a policy.
it's not
It
a
wasn't a
policy.
plan.
It's a statement.
Like, that's the thing. It was like, I think Pauline and fucking Barnaby Joyce and the others were doing a press conference, and the clip, at least, like the quotes that they were pulling from that in that 10 News thing about the plan, was that she was saying, Pauline Hanson was saying that like, yeah, they're talking about rationing, and I think, and obviously I'm cleaning this up because she doesn't know how to talk, but like saying like, yeah, they're talking about rationing, but obviously that's something that people in the cities can do. They've got public transport and others. Like you city people can ration, but out in rural areas, no, that's that you can't expect that. And I was like, oh my god, she's right. Like. Like, sure, but yeah, like, that makes sense.
But like, that means the worst person you know just made a good point.
Just made a good point. And Barnaby Joyce brought up that that piece of legislation you're referring to, Adam, about like that there's a clause in there.
Management plan.
Yeah, about the emergency management plan, and he was bringing it up in the sense of like, why have you got this in the legislation if you're not willing to use it? Like, what crisis are we waiting to happen before we pull the trigger on this? And
I mean, they're not wrong. It's like.
Oh my god! They like One Nation is making sense.
Yeah, but they don't need to wear. They don't need to wear the stink of actually deploying it.
Of doing
like they can bully the government into using it, and when they use it and people are pissed off, they go "fucking Labor," right?
But look,
right?
if fuel rationing happens,
Mondays,
like, I as an inner city coastal scumbag would be fine with that because again, I'm not necessarily effective. But I can catch the train. It's okay.
Yeah, like we can make sacrifices.
We can make different choices.
For people who can't be.
Sure.
Like, yeah, that
and then
makes sense.
keep it open for regional people. But I do want to bring up one thing though, which really, I watched a bit of that press conference, Tom, and I just want to like put it out there into the ether. I really want to just provide support for this person. Barnaby needs to go to the dentist.
Oh yes,
he really needs to go to an orthodontist.
I didn't clock his teeth. What happened?
Oh, they're not good, and I feel bad for him because he's now like he's obviously very front and center of the new One Nation like apparatus, and I just like Barnaby. Please just. Can we all just like can we get some funds together? Maybe help him. I don't know. What does he need? Like, I'm sure he's fine.
Maybe some veneers.
Yeah.
Everyone looks great with veneers.
Oh yeah, look, with Hollywood keyboard teeth.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Well, but and speaking of you being able to take public transport, apparently in Dan Andrews' Socialist Utopia, for the next month, public transport's free in Melbourne.
Well, that's great because they're closing my line for at least a week during that period.
In Victoria and Tasmania, they're doing free public transport for the month of April to try and, like, I guess, encourage people to be using less fuel and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and I also think you might be looking at work from home orders and things like that. I mean,
which is hilarious. I think,
we're back in COVID days.
We're doing that again.
Time is a flat circle.
Who's the deputy leader of the Liberal Party now? Since Angus Taylor is the leader.
It's
Hume? Jane Hume?
Hume.
Yeah, Jane Hume. I saw her being interviewed on being interviewed by the ABC, and they pulled a little clip out because they asked about the work from home stuff, given she was the one who spearheaded the removing work from home policy for public servants policy that got absolutely riggedy wrecked at the last election. And yeah, she was like, work from home's like fine and all, but the government needs to, and just the flip flop and mental gymnastics around it was incredible. Just amazing. Yeah. Just watching them squirm is always fun.
So given the levels of inflation that we're going through and all these costs, the federal government has asked the Fair Work Commission to give minimum and award wage workers an above inflation pay rise this year. Which
the Federal Reserve has entered the chat. Huh? What?
The Federal Reserve or the Reserve Bank of Australia, you mean?
Oh, sorry, the Reserve Bank of Australia. Sorry, the Federal Reserve is the American.
Yep. Yes. So they're looking at, I think it's around. I mean, the trade union wants 5%.
Okay.
Get that.
Okay, buddy.
Because the government haven't given a number. Is the in their classic thing. I believe the qualifier by the Treasurer Jim Chalmers was a real increase to the rate. So like, what constitutes a real increase, Jim? We kind of maybe need numbers.
Is the real increase in the room with us now?
Yeah, but I guess that's the thing of pay rise above inflation, which Oh no, I'd get
Is
absolutely
looking
wrecked by that journalist. I don't know what inflation currently is at the moment.
So it's
Fucking
looking-
Google it, mate. As,
As
Adam
Adam
Band. I paraphrase. He didn't say fucking. I don't think.
I think it's sitting around 3.5% or so. But
Yeah.
No, it's in the 4s, isn't it?
well, we can look it up.
Well, this
Keep
this
talking. Sure, it's
article
in there.
from several
It depends
days
on
ago
what you're
said
looking at.
3.7. The inflation figures for February showed a rate of 3.7 or 3.3.
3.7.
It depends on if you're looking at core inflation or the
Yeah,
full
yeah.
inflation or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
rather
the
than like
Australia's- so-
semi inflation.
So from
Full-
4 days ago, Australia's
full
annual
effective.
inflation climbed to 3.8% in December 2025 from November's 3-month low of 3.4, surpassing market forecasts at 3.6 and remaining above the RBA's target. So,
I'm
so
thinking
the headline
unemployment rate. Sorry, that's my
so the unemployment rate has ticked up. So headline CPI is currently, as of Feb of this year, 3.7, but the trimmed mean is 3.3%. And so there's certain things that they don't include in the trimmed mean and certain outliers that they don't include. So look, honestly, 3.3 is not bad, but it does seem like we're still in a situation where the Reserve Bank is going to want to continue tightening rather than loosening, right?
I do, it's
And all this fuel stuff on top certainly doesn't.
the May budget is coming up, and I'm assuming they'll announce that kind of this thing sort of around that time.
Oh yeah.
And it seems like Jim
We're-
Chalmers is floating some balloons saying, look, times are tough, inflation's high, we really got to take some money out of the market. Let's get rid of negative gearing, which we always wanted to do.
Just putting some ideas into the ether.
Oh,
Yeah, capital gains tax discounts. We got to do some stuff to pull some money out, get some demand out of the economy, right?
It's almost time to find out who the winners and losers are. It's my favorite time of the year.
Get ready, boys. Winners and losers time.
Are you a
Winners
fucking
and
loser
losers.
for another year?
Are you a fucking budget loser shithead cunt?
It's actually the most boring, like the actual budget delivery.
Oh my god, have you tried to
like-
watch it?
Oh my god!
I'd
But it's
rather
it's the media coverage in response
Yes.
to the budget.
is always
that we are
good.
here for.
Actually, watching the
Trying
treasurer
to
deliver
trying to
the
make it
budget
sexy. Yeah.
is so boring. I would rather
Yeah.
like slam a
And I've-
dictionary on my testicles. It is so boring.
I
You
watch
probably
it.
could slam the budget on your testicles. It's like that thick.
It's
normally.
thick.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
They're-
thick
they're
document.
Thick books. Yeah.
Thick boy.
Yeah,
Probably
but
get
I
a
will.
PDF version, not the.
Of course you
not the
watch it,
printed.
George.
Yeah.
Of course you
I
watch
typically tend to watch it.
At like
good
triple
wave.
speed?
Yeah,
Or
double speed.
live?
Yeah,
or do
double
you watch
speed.
it live?
No, I
'Cause
can't be
you
bothered
can't
watching
speed
it
that
live.
shit up.
No.
The ABC does a special coverage. They'll have a panel
Ooh.
for immediate thoughts and responses.
How can you say they're not responsive to the needs of the younger generation, Adam? They've got a bad budget response panel. I mean, the ABC is absolutely the locus of the the political discussion that's happening in Australia right now, as we can all see.
Anyway, my football team won, so who cares about anything else?
Great. I want to say North Melbourne.
Yes.
There we go.
And also the Tassie VFL team. Let's go, boys.
I don't care.
There's a whoa, slow down, Maestro. There's a VFL.
There's a VFL, which is actually includes
I don't-
teams from
we
Queensland,
don't-
New South
we don't
Wales,
care.
but
We don't
and
care.
Tasmania. But don't worry about it.
We don't care. So the idea is obviously that if so it's a kind of a funny structure. So essentially the
I thought we were wrapping the show up.
yeah. Well, we are. So the Fair Work Commission is kind of like an independent body, but like you can sort of stack it with your cronies. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
the government is making an independent recommendation, and they just go, "Oh, it's not our fault. The Fair Work Commission just decided whatever they decided."
Arm's length.
Arm's length.
Arm's length.
All right, but the
Really,
idea
like
is
a baby's arm.
if the government's asking for it, then the Fair Work Commission might feel, entitled to say, okay, well, we
We'll
can
do it.
sort of wage raises beyond the rate of inflation. But this is literally how you get that sort of wage price spiral, is that people go, inflation's high, you got to raise wages higher than inflation in order to make sure that the people at the bottom aren't negatively affected. But it's like, well, if you're giving them more purchasing power, doesn't that make the inflation situation worse?
It's the
And
minimum wage. It's the minimum wage.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
those are
like
the
we're
ones.
wais-
Yeah, but those are the people that are spending the vast majority of their income on these life essentials, which are going up in price. So if they have more money to spend on, like, I'm not. This is the neoliberal argument. I'm not making this argument, but the the Reserve Bank of Australia will be watching this very closely to say, okay, well, you're kind of creating extra demand because these are the people for whom they spend most of their paycheck on the essentials. And if there's more essentials for them to spend money on, that might translate into further rate hikes rather than, because this is not going to affect the wealthiest people. It will not change their spending habits whatsoever. But if you're spending 80% of the money that comes in the door out on goods and services, and the price of those goods and services goes up and your wages go up, like there's more
I'm not
middle income and poor people that than there are rich people, right?
I'm not convinced that that healthcare and milk are the reasons for
it's because
where things are inflating.
There's services inflation seems to be where it's most sticky, and of course all of this oil supply shock from the Iran situation is not going to help any of that either. So what I'm saying is I think, like, whilst I think it's good that the poorest amongst us, people on minimum wage, get an increase, and I think it should be above inflation as a rule, you want to see real wage growth in to lift these people up into higher socioeconomic brackets over time. You don't want to see people just languishing in poverty forever. I think the Reserve Bank and others will be looking at this with a very skeptical eye, saying, does this mean we have to raise again? Which again is like, you've got two areas of the government kind of like at odds with each other. You've got the federal government who's like trying to sort of sway things with the Fair Work Commission to say, like, please don't fuck poor people too much. And the RBA is going, well, you're not fucking poor people hard enough. We're going to have to go harder. Like it's kind of like two arm's length organizations in tension with one another. And I don't know. I hate that we're caught in this cycle again. I thought we'd sort of gotten past this coming out of COVID and things are finally starting to calm down. And it's just like, yeah, we're just back at it again. I just hate it.
But don't worry, the Dow's okay.
It's over 9,000. On that note, we have been, we are, and we always will be Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. Make sure you visit us on all the bullshit social medias that have, do, or ever will exist at our handle, at Unnatural Show. That's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Mother Flippin' TikTok. Make sure you go to YouTube and TikTok for clips in which we are being abused by our commenters. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at George Tsipos.
You can follow me on Threads at tom.heath.
And don't follow me anywhere.
That's probably good for InfoSec purposes. Thanks for listening, guys. I love your faces. We'll see you next week.
Adam's a ghost.
I'm not. I wish I was.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah.